Hello everyone, it's Mr. Edmund here. Welcome to your first lesson from the light topic. This one is called What is Light? You've got your success criteria down here, so feel free to pause the PowerPoint and write those down. If you haven't got one already, please go and get a pen and a piece of paper so that you can write down notes and do any tasks that I give you as we go along. Here's the little fun task for you to do. Where is the science in this photo? There are loads and loads of correct answers to this question. So I suggest you set yourself a 2-minute timer and write down all of the ideas that you can think of, and then if you want to check them, you can send them into your science teacher. So waves recap. Light is actually a wave. It's a transverse wave, which is what you can see on this diagram, because the medium is moving at right angles to the direction of energy. So the energy is going, let's say, from left to right, and the medium is going up and down. So the medium is going at right angles to the direction of energy transfer. So that's why you've got this up and down wave pattern, unlike a sound wave, where we represent it using lines or a slinky. So copy this diagram down, because you need to know all of these words. You need to know that the wavelength is the distance from crest to crest, or from trough to trough, or any corresponding points on two adjacent waves. So you can measure it from here to here, or from here to here. So that's the wavelength. You obviously need to know the crest is the top of the wave, the trough is the bottom of the wave, and the amplitude is the distance from the middle to the top or the middle to the bottom, not all the way from top to bottom. So it's from halfway to the bottom or the top. You also need to know that the frequency is the number of waves that pass a point every second. So there's a link to maths, because in maths the frequency is how often something happens. So in this case, the thing that's happening is waves passing a point, and it's how many go past that point in every second. Alright, lots of keywords in this lesson. A source is an object or a substance that emits light, and emit means to release. So for example, the sun emits light. We've also got a picture down here which shows lots of sources emitting light. We've got the lights of a town in the background, we've got probably the setting sun, and we've got some other stars in the sky. And down here, this is not a photo effect, this is actually bioluminescent plankton in the sea. And they are a source of light because they emit light. And then transmit means to pass through. And we've got the example of a glass window. So this glass is letting light pass through it. It's transmitting light. So properties of materials. Luminous is a property of an object or substance that emits light. So these things are sources of light, they're emitting light, and that's because they are luminous. So we've got the sun, fire, a torch and a candle. Non-luminous is something that doesn't emit light, so everything else. A book, a tree, a plate, your hand, a piece of paper, they're all non-luminous. Feel free to pause the video and write those down. Alright, other properties of materials. Transparent is an object that most light travels through, like glass. So we've got a glass jar. You can see through it, you can see what's going on behind it. Most of the light is passing through, it's being transmitted by this glass. Translucent, light can travel through but it's scattered, and our example is frosted glass. So on this photo, you can see on the frosted bit, you can see like the outline of the cliffs and the trees and the water, but it's blurry. That's because the light's been scattered. So you've probably got like a bathroom window that's translucent. And then opaque is anything that doesn't let the light pass through. So coffee cup, a pencil, again your hand, a glue stick. Anything that you can't see through is opaque. Alright, we need to know about the light in space. So a vacuum is a space or a volume where there are no particles. And light can actually travel through a vacuum. It's not like sound, it doesn't need any particles to travel. We need to know about light time. That's actually a measurement of distance, even though it's got the word time in it. It means the distance travelled by light in a certain time. So for example, a light year is the distance that light can travel in a year. And it is, oh, I'm terrible at really long numbers. Okay, 1,000, a million, a billion. Okay, so it's 9,640,000,000,000 kilometres is 1 light year. All right, that's a big number. And light years are useful because distances in space are extremely large. So for example, on this photo, there's a red dot here, just under my laser pointer. That is Proxima Centauri. That's our nearest star apart from the Sun, and it's 4.22 light years away from us. So that's quite a convenient number to work with, 4.22 light years. If we did that in kilometres though, that would be 40,488,000,000,000 kilometres. So that's a very difficult, big number for us to try and do calculations with. So that's why light years are really useful. Here's our summary, lots of new keywords for you. Wave is a disturbance that travels through space and matter, transferring energy from one place to another. A source is an object or substance that emits light. Emit means to release, for example, the sun emits light. Transmit means to pass through, like the glass window. Reflect means to bounce off. For example, the book reflects light into her eye. Absorb is to take in without reflection, so the light is absorbed into her eye. Luminous is the property of an object or substance that emits light. Non-luminous is the property of an object or substance that doesn't emit light. Transparent is the property of an object or substance that lets most light pass through. You can see clearly through transparent materials. Translucent things let some light pass through, or most light pass through, but you can't see clearly through them. Opaque materials don't let any light pass through. You can't see through opaque materials. Vacuum is a space or volume where there are no particles, and light time is a measurement of distance. The distance travelled by light in a certain time. For example, a light year is the distance that light can travel in a year, which is 9,640,000,000,000 kilometres. Thank you very much for listening. I'll speak to you next time.